Hello, so today I want to talk about 3 keys to helping you get into the zone, also known as a flow state. So I'm definitely going to interchange those 2 terms as we go through this video. The first key to helping you get into the zone or into a flow state is the challenge to skill ratio. So what this means is there is a beautiful blend that has to exist between the challenge that you are facing and your perceived ability to meet that challenge. So your confidence in your ability to meet that challenge. If you feel like the challenge is greater than your ability to meet it and you don't have confidence in your ability to meet that challenge, you're going to feel more anxious. And then if you feel like the challenge is lower than your skill set and you have more skill set than that challenge and it's on the low end, you fall more into kind of boredom. So we have to have that nice sweet spot between the two to get into what is known as the flow funnel. And one of the things I really focus on with clients when I look at this is really more in terms of the confidence and their perception of their skill set to meet that challenge. A big part of this equation is the perception part of both the perception of the challenge that you're facing as well as the perception of your ability to meet that challenge, not the actual challenge and not your actual skill set, really what your perception is. And so we have to help clients be able to really obviously boost their confidence, really be able to have what is known as prime confidence, which is steady, deep, and long-lasting confidence that is there even if you maybe have a bad performance or two, that is not dictated based off of your performance. So it's not like a roller coaster ride. It's there when things aren't great, and you also don't get overconfident when things are seemingly easy. So that's a really important thing, and that prime confidence and how to generate that confidence is going to be looked at in a video in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. But the confidence piece is really, really important. So you have to be confident that you can meet that challenge. And I would say if you're in a sport and you've naturally kind of progressed through your sport, gone up in levels, are developing your skill sets, I'm going to say generally you have what you need to meet that challenge. And obviously if you don't, then you can go back and look to work on your skill sets. And to be honest, they're always kind of changing. If you are progressing in your sports, at some point the challenge might be slightly higher than maybe what your skill sets are, and that's where then you have to dig in, do the work, and then sometimes maybe your confidence may be really a little bit higher than what the challenge is. So they kind of feed off each other, and they have to constantly kind of adjust to kind of continue to keep that sweet spot. But as I said, really a big part of it is your perception of your ability to face that challenge. Number 2 is feedback. So one of the beautiful things about sports and its ability to help us get into the zone or into a flow state is that feedback is close at hand. And the closer the feedback is in hand, as well as how fast we get that feedback from what we just did, the easier it is for us to kind of stay in the now, because we don't have to go too far to search out whether or not we're doing something right or not. If you are a soccer player, for example, and you pass the ball to a teammate, you get immediate feedback as to, was that ball on target or was it not on target? And so that's what I said. The important part about the feedback is the immediate part. Immediate feedback is that second key to the equation. And that's why I said why sports is such a beautiful ability. Helps us to be able to get into the zone or into the flow state more easily than maybe some other things in our lives because of that immediate feedback. Now, something to keep in mind is, how do you take that feedback, right? If I'm the soccer player and I pass the ball and it's off the mark, what do I do with that information in that moment? And that really is a big determinant of whether or not you're going to be able to stay in the present moment or not. And when we're looking at flow or the zone, it's really this high level of being in the present moment. And so these 3 things that we're going over is about helping you be in that present moment. And so if you get information and feedback that your pass was off, and then you get into a little bit of a negative self-talk spiral, or you start to really doubt your skill sets, or you start to worry about what's this going to mean for your playing time, or am I going to get pulled by the coach, you're no longer able to really stay in the present moment. And so the immediate feedback, yes, very, very important. And I think though, when I've worked with clients, obviously what you do with that information is also just as important. If you just take it and understand you need to make a small adjustment in, I guess, how you passed or what you were looking at and where you were passing, or some other factor that might influence your ability to make accurate passes, but just make it as a small adjustment. Just see it, take it, make the adjustment, execute it, right? That helps you stay in the present moment. But if you now get into things that are going to pull you into the past, worrying about the, reliving the mistake and now projecting it forward, it's now harder to obviously stay in the flow. And then the third key is clear goals. And in this, it's really the clear part that is most important, because clear equals clarity, and clarity helps to drive us into the now. And as I said, being in a flow state, being in the zone is all about being in the now, being present and being as present as possible in that moment. As soon as you remove yourself from being in the now, you lose that ability to be in a flow state or in the zone. And so, as I said, the clear part of the goals is very, very important. We want them to be exceptionally clear. If goals are too vague, too big, kind of not as I said, vague, like you kind of really want to know, am I doing it or I'm not doing it? And so you got to really break your goals down to really be as clear as they possibly can. What are you trying to accomplish here? What are you trying to do? And that's very, very important, as I said, to pull you into now. And you need to do that for games, for practices, maybe even for a half. Sometimes we make goals. For me, my background is as an ice hockey player, and so if I made a goal that was for all 3 periods, that itself may be a little bit too much. To make it even more clear and really help drive me into the now, I need to maybe make goals based off of each period. And a goal could simply be keep my feet moving, and that could be the goal. It's very clear. I'll know if I'm moving my feet or not moving my feet. Obviously, moving my feet helps me do a lot of other really great things, but we need to really make sure that that goal is exceptionally clear and helps drive us into the now. So there you have it. There are your 3 keys to helping you get into the zone. They are also known as conditions of flow or internal triggers of flow, and they are the challenge to skill ratio, immediate feedback, and clear goals.